Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters, welcome to our weekly class on the explanation of Al-Muqaddimah Al-Ajurrimiyyah. Naam, Al-Tuhfah Al-Sanniyyah by Sheikh Muhammad Muhyiddin Abdul Hamid rahimahullah. And today, walhamdulillah, we are starting the next chapter, the next one in line from the mansubat, and that is al-hal. Al-hal. Now, okay. Okay, I'll share the thingy with you now. The screen, just a second. Right. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Done this, Darf al-Makan, we've done all this. And here we are. Bismillah. Al-hal. So the author, Ibn Ajurrum rahimahullah, he says, Babul hal, the chapter of al-hal. Al-halu, now he's going to give you the definition. Al-halu huwa al-ismu al-mansubu al-mufassiru liman bahama min al-hayati. So he says al-hal. Al-hal, it is what? First of all, it is an ism. Then this ism is mansoob, and then this ism is this a third quality. Al-mufassiru liman bahama min al-hayat. Yani al-hal, what is the job of al-hal? Al-mufassir, to clarify and to explain that which is ambiguous and vague and unclear from the hayat, from the states and conditions. Now, okay, so what is hal? Al-halu huwa al-ismu al-mansubu al-mufassiru. It's al-mufassir. It explains and clarifies what? Liman bahama min al-hayat. Hayat, states and conditions. In bahama, yani mubham. Mubham is something which is unclear, ambiguous, vague. So that's what hal does. It clarifies and explains the state and the condition, the hal and the state and the condition of something or someone. Nahwu qawlika, for example, Ja'a Zaydun rakiban. Rakiban is hal. Wa rakibtul farasa musrajan. Musraj is hal. Wa laqitu Abdullahi rakiban. Rakiban is hal. Wa ma ashbaha dhalik. Ja'a Zaydun rakiban. Zayd came riding. Wa rakibtul farasa musrajan. I rode a horse which was saddled. Wa laqitu Abdullahi rakiban. And I met Abdullah while I was riding. وَمَا أَشْبَهَ ذَلِكَ, and whatever is similar to this. Nah, طيب. So for example, if we say if we say جاء زيد راكبا. So راكبا, yes, it has come. Why is it there? And if you say جاء زيد, the sentence is complete. Yes, but when Zayd came, how did he come? What state did he come in? What condition did he come in? We don't know. It's vague. It's unclear. Maybe he came walking, maybe he came running, maybe riding, maybe by bus, by car. We don't know what state he came in, what condition, what hal he came in. Yes. So now you can see rakiban. It is an ism. It is mansoob, and it is clarifying and explaining the state of Zayd when he came, and he came riding. No. No. Okay, because if you just say, as I mentioned, Ja'a Zaydun on its own, we don't know. But when you say Ja'a Zaydun Rakiban, khalas, now we know. We know the state and the condition that he came in. The other thing you have to know, that hal requires two things. Okay, I might as well tell you this now because it's going to come later on in the chapter, but now maybe it's a good time to mention that. So hal, yes, it needs two things. It needs a sahib and it needs an amil. Is called sahibul hal and amilul hal. What does sahibul hal mean? Sahibul hal is the person or the thing whose state or condition is being described. That's sahibul hal. So in this sentence, say Jazi Rakiban, Zaid is the sahibul hal. Because Rakib is clarifying and explaining the hal, the condition, the state of Zaid. So Zaid is sahibul hal. Amilul hal. Amil means the agent. Amil means what is it that acted upon Rakib and made it mansoob. So there is a qaida. When it comes to hal, there is a qaida, a very important qaida. What is the qaida? The qaida is, if you want to know what is the amil of the hal, you have to look at what is the amil of the sahibul hal. Because the amil of the sahibul hal will also be the amil for the hal. So first of all, let's try to identify what is the amil of the sahibul hal. Sahibul hal is Zaid. Zaid is fa'il marfu. What is it that is made in marfu? It's the fi'l that came before it, ja'a. Fi'l madi that came before it, it is what made Zaid marfu. Naam? Okay, it is what made Zaid marfu. So now, the amil of sahibul hal is ja'a. Therefore, the amil for the hal is also ja'a. So ja'a is the one that's made Zaid marfu, and ja'a is also the one that's made Rakib mansoob. Wadih? So hopefully that is now clear. Okay. Nam ja'a Zaidun rakiban. What was the next example they gave here? Let's look at it. Rakibtul farasa musrajan. Nam. Rakibtul farasa musrajan. Now, Okay, let's write it down. ركبت الفرس مسرجا. Musraj is the hal. Now, here we said rakiban was the hal for Zaid. And there's only one thing, there's the fa'il, yeah? Ja'a is fi'il, Zaid was fa'il, and rakib is the hal. So rakib is the hal for the fa'il Zaid. Khalas. But here now, in this sentence here, rakibtul farasa musrajan, we have two nouns. We have two things. We have the ta, which is a damir. This is the fa'il. And we have another ism, which is a maf'ul. Rakibtu fi'l wa fa'il. Al-farasa maf'ulun bihi. Musrajan is the hal. Now, in this sentence, rakib was the hal for the fa'il Zaid. Is it the same case here? The musrajan is musrajan. Is it the hal for the fa'il, or is it hal for the maf'ulun bihi? What do you think? What do you lot think? Because now we have two. In the first example, we only had one, so it was simple. Ja'a Zaydun rakiban. It can only be for Zayd, the hal. But here we have rakibtul farasa musraja. So now here is musrajan. Is it the hal, the condition or the state of the tha, the fa'il, or is it the al-faras, the horse? Nobody knows? Okay, of course it cannot be for fa'il, because what this sentence means is I rode the horse, I rode the saddled horse. Or I rode the horse while it was saddled. It had a saddle on it. Of course, a person cannot be saddled, can he? Can you put a saddle on top of a person? Of course not. So this musrajan is the hal for al-faras, the horse, the maf'ul bihi. In the first example, it was the hal for a fa'il, Zayd. In this example, the hal is not for a fa'il. It's impossible that can be the case. The context will not allow it. So musrajan, it is for that. Okay, what's the third example? وَلَقِيتُ عَبْدَ اللَّهِ رَاكِبًا. لَقِيتُ عَبْدَ اللَّهِ رَاكِبًا. Rakiban is the hal. Again, we have two things. We have number one, this laqitu, I met Abdullah rakiban, riding. I met Abdullah while riding. How did you meet Abdullah? I met Abdullah in a state of riding, while I was riding. Yes, so this tha is the fa'il. Abdullah, this is the maf'ul bihi. Now again, we have two things. So now rakib, is it hal for the fa'il to me, or is it the fa'il for, or is rakib the hal for the maf'ul bihi Abdullah? Here you can have this or that. You can have this or that, because both can be possible. Yani I met Abdullah while I was riding, or I met Abdullah while Abdullah was riding and I was not riding. So rakiban can be hal for this and that. Now, so here the sahibul hal. So remember, in the first example, sahibul hal is Zaid. In the second example, sahibul hal is this, Faras. Yeah. In the third example, sahibul hal can be this or this. This. Both of them can be sahibul hal. And what is the amil of the hal here? The amil of the hal is the fi'l laqiya. Because laqiya is the fi'l that acts upon both. It acts upon the two fa'il. Yes. It is the thing, laqiya is the agent that has made two marfu, yani fi mahalli raf. And laqiya is also the amil that has made Abdullah mansub because mafulun bihi. So either way, the amil will not change. Whether you say the sahibul hal is two, or you say sahibul hal is Abdullah, either way, the amil will not change for rakiban. The amil for rakiban will also be laqiya, because laqiya is the amil of the sahibul hal. So if laqiya is the amil of sahibul hal, that means it is also the amil for the hal. And likewise here, rakibtul farasa musrajan. Here the sahibul hal is al-faras. What is it that has made al-faras mansub? It is rakiba. So rakiba is the one that has made sahibul hal al-faras mansub. So therefore, rakiba is also the amil, the agent that has made musraja, the hal mansub. No? So these, I think, this is just like a basic introduction into hal, which if you have done book 3 in Medina, book 3 or any other course at a pretty advanced level, you should have come across these things. So hopefully some of this was a revision for you. Okay. So that's that. Now let's look at what the Sharih rahimahullah he said. He said وَأَقُولُ, he said I say al-halu fil lugha, al-hal in the Arabic language, what is it? مَا عَلَيْهِ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ خَيْرٍ أَوْ شَرٍ. It is what hal, condition state, it is what a person is upon, either of good or bad. And his hal is khair or is shar. That's in the lugha, linguistically speaking. وَهُوَ فِي اصْطِلَاحِ النُّحَاةِ. As for in the terminology of the grammarians, what is it? عبارة عن, it is an expression for what? الاسم الفضلة المنسوب المفسر لمن بهم من الهيئات. Yeah, and I'll just explain that to you what that means. Yes, it is an ism. This I've explained, this I've explained, and this I've explained. The only thing new you might be thinking is this, al-fadala. What does al-fadala mean? It is an ism which is al-fadala, yani extra. Yani it comes after speech is complete. It comes after completed speech. It's extra information of speech that has already preceded it and is complete. Okay? So for example, if I said to you, Ja'a Zaydun, isn't speech complete? Of course it is, because the fi'l and the fa'il, Zayd came, khalas. Zayd has come, Zayd came, finished. Now Rakiban is extra speech, fadala, to clarify Ja'a Zaydun, how he came. Same here, Rakibtul Farasa, I rode the horse, complete. Laqitu Abdullah, I met Abdullah, complete. No? So The word here rakiban and musrajan and rakiban again, these are al-fadalah. So now he's going to go and he's going to explain this definition. And he says, وَقَوْلُنَا, as for our saying, al-ism, we said that this is al-hal is an ism. Yashmal as-sarih. So this includes as-sarih, an explicit ism. Like for example, dahikan, laughing. When you say fi qawlika, ja'a Muhammadun dahikan, Muhammad came laughing. Yes. So when we say ism, it includes both, which is sarih and وَيَشْمَلُ الْمُؤَوَّلَ بِالصَّرِيحِ. And it also includes the interpreted form of an ism. Any ism which is not explicit is interpreted. Now, it has been, it is something that is in the interpretation of an ism as-sarih, but itself is not ism sarih, but it can be interpreted into an ism sarih. For example, yadhak. For example, I say ja'a Muhammadun yadhaku. So here, ja'a Muhammadun dahikan, this is hal. Ja'a Muhammadun yadhaku, this is hal. فَإِنَّهُ فِي تَأْوِيلِ قَوْلِكَ ضَاحِكًا. He's saying that yadhak is in the interpretation of dahikan. So yadhak is not ism, is it? It's fi'l mudari. But it's in the interpretation of ism sarih, which is what here? Dahikan. So ja'a Muhammadun dahikan, ja'a is fi'l al-madi, Muhammad is fa'il, dahikan is hal, mansoob, wa alamatu nasbihi al-fathatu al-zahiratu ala akhirihi. Very easy. Now when I say ja'a Muhammadun yadhaku, who can do the i'rab of that? Very, very simple i'rab. Ja'a Muhammadun yadhaku. Anyone? No? Ja'a Muhammadun yadhaku. Ja'a Muhammadun yadhaku. Ja'a is wadih, fi'l madi. Muhammad is fa'il. Yadhaku. Yadhaku, as you know, it is fi'lun mudari'un marfu'un li khuluwihi min al-nasibi wal-jazimi wa alamat rafi'i ad-dammatu wal-dhahiratu ala akhirihi. Wa fa'iluhu damirun mustatirun jawazan taqdiruhu huwa. But then we say wa jumlatu, and the jumla yadhak fi mahalli nasbin hal. وجملة يضحك في محل نصب حال. Okay, وقولنا الفضل. When we say الفضل, what does that mean? معناه أنه ليس جزءا من الكلام. It means that it's not part of the main speech. فخرج بالخبر. So this does not include. So therefore, this kicks out al-khabar. Khabar is therefore excluded. When we say this, khabar is excluded. Why? Because khabar is part of the main jumla. And you have mubtada and you have khabar. You have fi'l wa fa'il. To have a complete jumla, complete kalam, kalamun tam. In Arabic, you need fi'l, fa'il, or mubtada, khabar. So when we say al-fadala, it means it's not part of the main speech. Therefore, khabar is excluded from being hal, because khabar is always part of the kalam, the main speech. So khabar can never be hal. وقولنا المنسوب, when we say المنسوب خرج بالمرفوع والمجرور, this kicks out المرفوع والمجرور. And then he says here وإنما نعم وإنما ينسب الحال بالفعل أو شبه الفعل. What is it that makes hal mansub? It's either fi'l or shibh al-fi'l, that which resembles a fi'l. For example, what? Like ismul fa'il, kasmil fa'ili, wal masdari, wal dharfi, wasmil ishara. All of these things can be the amil of the hal. All of them and other things also, they can make these are things which are called amil hal. They act upon the hal and they make the hal mansub. Either it can be a fi'l, the amil al-hal can either be a fi'l or it can be shibh al-fi'l. And shibh al-fi'l includes several things. Ismul fa'il, ismul maf'ul, al-masdar, ismul tafdil, al-sifa al-mushabbaha, al-dharf, al-jar majroor, ismul ishara, ila akhirih. And we will see some examples of these in a while, inshallah. Naam. Okay. Then okay. Then he says وقولنا المفسر لمن بهم من الهيئات, yet hal is that which explains and clarifies hayat. Hayat yani condition states which are unclear, ambiguous, vague. معناه, what does this mean? معناه أن الحال يفسر ما خفي واستتر من صفات ذوي العقل وغيرهم. It means that hal, it explains and clarifies that which is hidden and unknown from the attributes or the characteristics of rational beings, ذوي العقل, those who possess aql, like humans, or غيرهم, or other than them, like animals or inanimate objects, and so on and so forth. No? So that's what it means when we say المفسر لمن بهم الهيئات معناه أن الحال يفسر ما خفي واستتر. The hal clarifies and explains that which is hidden and unknown, min sifati, from the attributes and characteristics of the will aqli, those who possess intellect, yani people who have reasoning, like humans, or ghayrihim, or other than the humans, other than them, other than the will aql, and they are like animals or objects. No? Then it says here, and we've done this, it's just a repetition, let's quickly read it. ثم إنه قد يكون بيانا لصفة الفاعل. Then in addition to, you have to know that hal can sometimes be a clarification for a fa'il, for the attribute, the characteristics of a fa'il. Yeah, إنه قد يكون بيانا لصفة الفاعل. That hal can sometimes be bayan, clarification for sifa of the fa'il, for yani a clarification of the state or the condition of the fa'il. For example, جاء عبد الله راكبا. We just saw that, yes. So rakiban is what? Is the hal for Abdullah. It's a clarification for Abdullah, and Abdullah is the fa'il. Or bayan li sifat al-maf'ul bihi. Or hal can sometimes be a bayan, a clarification for the maf'ul bihi. Nahwu rakibtu al-farasa musraja. Al-farasa, it is a maf'ul bihi in this sentence, and musraja is the hal for faras. It explains and clarifies the state and the condition of maf'ul bihi in this sentence. And this is what I said before, last one. وَقَدْ يَكُونُ مُحْتَمِلًا لِلْأَمْرَيْنِ جَمِيعًا. And sometimes hal can be for both things. Nahwu, it can be hal for this or hal for that. Nahwu laqitu Abdullahi rakiban. So rakiban here can be hal either for the fa'il, who, or it can be hal for Abdullah, which is maf'ulun bihi. And we've just discussed this, yeah? So it's easy peasy. Okay. So now he says here something to finish off this part. وكما يجيء الحال من الفاعل والمفعول به فإنه يجيء من الخبر. Just as hal can be for a fa'il and just as hal can be for maf'ul bihi, hal can also be for a khabar. Hal, it can also be for khabar. Now, so for example, look here. Anta sadiqi mukhlisan. Anta is mubtada, sadiq is khabar, and mukhlisan is the hal for sadiq. And sadiq is the khabar. You are my sincere friend. You are my friend who is sincere. Anta sadiqi mukhlisan. Okay, so كما يجيء الحال من الفاعل المفعول به فإنه يجيء من الخبر نحو أنت سيد وقد يجيء من المجرور بحرف الجر. And it can also, hal can also be, it can also be, hal can also be hal for an ism which is majroor with the harf al-jar. For example, marartu bihindin rakibatan. I went past by Hind. The Hind is the name of a girl, rakibatan, while she was riding. So you can see here, rakibatan is hal for who? Hal for Hind, of course. Yes. Now, it is hal for Hind, and Hind is an ism majroor bi harf al-jar al-ba. That's why it says here, وَقَدْ يَجِيءُ مِنَ الْمَجْرُورِ بِحَرْفِ الْجَرْ. That hal, you can have hal for ism al-majroor, which is majroor the harf al-jar. نحو مررت بهند راكبة. راكبة, it is hal for Hind, and Hind is an ism majroor bil harf al-jar ba. وَقَدْ يَجِيءُ مِنَ الْمَجْرُورِ بِالْإِضَافَةِ. Hal can also be hal for an ism which is majroor, not because of harf al-jar, but because of idafa. مضاف مضاف إليه. For example, نحو قوله تعالى أن اتبع ملة إبراهيم حنيفا. Now look here. Millata Ibrahim, this construct here, this is mudaf mudaf ilayh. Millata is mudaf and Ibrahima is mudaf ilayh. Okay, Ibrahim here is mudaf ilayh, majroor. But why does it not have a kasra? Why is there fatha on Ibrahim? Although Ibrahim is mudaf ilayh, is majroor. Naam? So it should have a kasra. Because mudaf ilayh majroor, because majroor is a kasra. But here Ibrahim doesn't have a kasra, it's a fatha. Why? Anybody know? Yep, good, because it is mamnu min as-sarf. Ahsant. No. And here it is mamnu min as-sarf because of alamiyyah and ujmah. Firstly, it is an alam, ismul alam, it is a proper noun. And the second reason is mamnu min as-sarf because of ujma, because it is ajami. The name is ajami, it's not Arab name. No? Okay, let's get back to it. See, these things, look, we've studied these things, you have to start applying them. And to be honest with you, there is absolutely no benefit in studying Nahu if you can't remember anything and you can't apply it. That's what Nahu is, a very practical science. The whole point of Nahu is to continuously apply the rules that you are learning in your studies of Arabic. Remember that these sciences like Nahu, Sarf, Balagha, Arabic, these are ulum al-ala. They are instruments through which you study Islam. These are not the goal. Nahu is not the goal. Nahu is the means to the goal. What is the goal? To understand the Quran and the Sunnah. So if you want to read the Quran, read tafsir of the Quran, you want to read a hadith, you want to read the explanation of the hadith, you want to read fiqh and so on and so forth, and aqidah, then without Nahu, you're going to struggle. You have to apply these rules. So okay, so Millata Ibrahim. Now, Hanifan, upright upon Tawheed. That's what Hanif means. Hanif means someone who has turned away from shirk and has turned towards Tawheed. That's Hanif. Yani a monotheist, a muwahhid, that's upon Tawheed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, follow the millah of Ibrahim Hanif. Follow the millah, follow the way, follow the religion of Ibrahim who was Hanif. Now, so Hanif, Hanifan halun Ibrahim, it is hal of Ibrahim. Wa Ibrahim majrurun bil fathati niyabatan anil kasra. Yes, and Ibrahim is majroor with a fatha instead of a kasra. We mentioned why, لأنه ممنوع من الصرف. For why is ممنوع من الصرف? Because of alamiyah and because of ujma. وهو مجرور بإضافة ملة وهو مجرور بإضافة ملة إليه. And it is majroor. Ibrahim is Ibrahim. Ibrahim here is sahibul hal. Yes, Ibrahim here is sahibul hal. The sahibul hal here, why is it majroor? Is it majroor because of harf al-jar? Like here, Hind is the sahibatul hal. Hind is a sahibul hal. But Hind is majroor not because of idafa, because of harf al-jar. As for Ibrahim, here is the sahibul hal. Why is it majroor? It is majroor because of millat, of the mudaf, because millah is mudaf to Ibrahim. نعم واضح إن شاء الله واضح. Okay. شروط الحال وشروط صاحبها. Now hal as well as its sahib, they both have certain conditions. So let's look at these conditions. قال. So he says, the author rahimahullah, he says what? Just 1 second. Yes, so Ibn Ajur rahimahullah says, وَلَا يَكُونُ إِلَّا نَكِرَةً. That hal can only be nakira. وَلَا تَكُونُ إِلَّا بَعْدَ تَمَامِ الْكَلَامِ. And it can only come after complete speech. We've spoken about that. وَلَا يَكُونُ صَاحِبُهَا إِلَّا مَعْرِفَةً. And the sahib of the hal can only be ma'rifah. These are 3 conditions. Okay. What does he say here now? The Sharih rahimahullah. وأقول, he says, I say, يجب في الحال يكون نكرة. It's a must that hal must be nakira. Hal must be nakira. ولا يجوز أن يكون معرفة. It's not allowed for it to be معرفة. وإذا جاء تركيب فيه الحال معرفة وإذا جاء تركيب فيه الحال معرفة في الظاهر. نعم. But if a tarkib, a structure, if a sentence or a certain structure pops up, and in the zahir, what is apparent, that the hal is ma'rifah, if that ends up happening, yes, what do we do then? فَإِنَّهُ يَجِبُ تَعْوِيلُ هَذِهِ الْمَعْرِفَةِ بِنَكِرَةٍ. It is a must that we interpret this ma'rifah as nakirah. For example, مثل قولهم جاء الأمير وحده. The Amir came by his, okay, وحده, this is the hal. The Amir came. How did the Amir come? On his own. Now وحده, it says here فإن وحده حال من الأمير. وحده is the hal for the Amir. Amir is the sahibul hal. وهو معرفة بالإضافة إلى الضمير. And وحده, it is ma'rifah because it is mudaf to a damir. And damir, as you know, is ma'rifah. And when something is mudaf to a ma'rifah, it becomes ma'rifah. Simple rule. If you take something nakira and you make it mudaf to a ma'rifah, it also becomes ma'rifah. So here wahdahu, it is the hal for Amir, but it is ma'rifah. Why is it ma'rifah? بالإضافة للضمير, because it is mudaf to a damir, which is ma'rifah. So because it's the wahda is mudaf to a damir, which is ma'rifah, also becomes ma'rifah. ولكنه في تأويل نكرة. But it is in the ta'wil, in the interpretation of a nakira. هي قولك. And what is this nakira? What is this ta'wil? هي قولك. It is your saying munfaridan. Munfaridan also means what? Fard. Munfarid, by himself. And munfaridan is nakira. فكأنك قلت. So it is as if you said جاء الأمير منفردا. The Amir came munfaridan, by himself. No. Okay. ومثل ذلك قولي. Another example of this is where the hal comes ma'rifah, but we have to ta'wil of it and make it nakira. أرسلها العراق. أرسل is the fi'l. أرسل is the fi'l. يعني أرسلها, he sent them. He sent them. Al-Iraq. Al-Iraq now, look. So أرسل is the fi'l. And the fa'il is the damir mustatir. يعني أرسل هو. Yes? Because after fi'l you must have a fa'il. Here obviously there's no fa'il written. So the fa'il here is damir mustatir. تقديره هو. أرسل هو. This ha is the maf'ul bihi. Al-Iraq is the hal. The hal for ha. It's the hal of the maf'ul bihi. So here the sahibul hal is ha, which is the maf'ul bihi. Okay, Al-Iraq, as you can see, it is the hal and it's mansoob. But the problem is that it has al before it. So it's ma'rifah. We cannot allow that. So we say, okay, yes, apparently it does look ma'rifah, but it's in the ta'wil of a nakirah. Yani mu'tarikatan. So for example, so it is as if we said arsalaha mu'tarikatan, and mu'tarikatan, as you can see, is nakira. And this is basically speaking about wild donkeys. So you have a male wild donkey, and with the male, normally with one male wild donkey, you have a group of female donkeys. Okay, and the male donkey is very protective of the female donkeys. He's always overlooking, checking, everything's cool, everything's okay, there's no predators, there's no this, there's no that. He's a rajul. Yes, subhanallah. Even in the animal kingdom, subhanallah, is the man, the male. Yes, this is the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. So arsalaha, what he does then, this male donkey, male wild donkey, not the domesticated ones, this talk about the wild ones here. When it's time to, go and, for example, drink some water, he'll stay behind. He'll send the females, ladies first, yes. He send the females ahead, and the females will then go to drink water. And you know what happens with a group of donkeys? That's yani mu'tarikatan means yani crowded and together and rubbing against each other. You know, when people are walking, like in Hajj, for example, in Tawaf, they're walking around in a crowded manner, yes? Everyone's touching, bumping against each other, and it's crowded and everyone's together, yes? So and that's how they are. When the donkeys, they go forward and they go in a group together, crowded, and they're drinking water like that, yes? They're bumping at each other. So this donkey sent the female donkeys ahead. In what state were these female donkeys when they went ahead to drink water? Mu'tarikatan, they were crowded together, bumping against each other. So that's the meaning of أرسلها العراك, يعني أرسلها معتركة. The male donkey sent the female donkeys ahead in front of him, while these female donkeys were in the condition of being crowded and together. And another example, the last example is mentioned here, where the the hal has been mentioned, ma'arifa, from what is apparent, but we do ta'wil. Is in the ta'wil of a nakira. Is the example here, وَجَاءُوا الْأَوَّلَ فَالْأَوَّلَ, yani they came one after the other. As you can see, the hal here is this, al-awwala fal-awwala, and they both have al before it. So that means they are both ma'rifa, but we cannot allow this. So we say it is in the ta'wil of a nakira. What is this nakira? Mutarattibina. Yani mutarattibina means they came in order, in an orderly sequence. So it is as if we have said, وَجَاءُوا مُتَرَتِّبِينَ. They came in order, one after the other, yes, in an orderly sequence. Father, inshallah. Okay, then that's the first condition explained, yeah, which is a nakira. Remember we said it has to be nakira. We've explained that and some exceptions. Now we're going to look at this one. So he says here, وَالْأَصْلُ فِي الْحَالِ أَنْ يَجِيءَ بَعْدَ اسْتِيفَاءِ الْكَلَامِ. He said the asl in hal, that it should come after the kalam is complete. وَمَعْنَى استيفاء الكلام. What does it mean, استيفاء الكلام? أن يأخذ الفعل فاعله والمبتدا خبره, that the fi'l has taken its fa'il and the mubtada has taken its khabar. So then you have a fi'l and a fa'il, or you have mubtada khabar, kalam tam. Naam. But are there any exceptions to this? Naam, there are exceptions to this. Oh, we forgot to mention something. Okay, we'll come back to that inshallah at the end. I was thinking there was something missing, but we'll come back to that. No, okay. So okay, we'll come back to that inshallah. Okay, so we said what we are saying now is that hal has to come after speech is complete, after mubtada khabar, after fi'l fa'il. But sometimes there can be a possibility, like he is saying here, وَرُبَّمَا وَجَبَ تَقْدِيمُ الْحَالِ عَلَى جَمِيعِ أَجْزَاءِ الْكَلَامِ. But sometimes it is wajib, it is a must, that hal, it comes before all parts of speech, meaning right at the beginning of the jumlah. For example, what? كما إذا كان الحال اسم استفهام. For example, in the condition or in the situation where the hal is ismu istifham. And as you know, ism istifham, or generally speaking, adawatul istifham, the words that we use for questioning, of course, they have to always come at the beginning of a jumla. I cannot say, for example, in English, are you how? I have to say, how are you? I cannot say, did you come from where? You say, where did you come from? Same thing in Arabic. Yes. I cannot say, ji'ta mata. You say, mata ji'ta. Yes, okay, in Armiya is different. They do that. In Armiya, they break all rules. Huh? Okay. Like if they were to say, if I say, Aina Muhammad, Armiya will say, Muhammad Fain, Muhammad Fain. Yes. So the point here is, for example, look here. كيف قدم علي? How did Ali come? Now, فكيف اسم استفهام. كيف is اسم استفهام مبني على الفتح في محل نصب حال من علي. So كيف here, it is اسم استفهام مبني على الفتح في محل نصب حال. كيف is the hal here, and it's the hal for Ali. Obviously, قدم علي. If I say قدم علي, Ali came, speech is complete. But here we cannot put the hal after, because we cannot say قدم علي كيف, because اسم أدوات الاستفهام always must come at the beginning of a jumla. So this is wajib that we put at the beginning the hal here. We've broken the rule for a reason. We've been forced to. We have no choice. Yes? And that's why it says, وَلَا يَجُوزُ تَأْخِيرُ اسْمِ الْإِسْتِفْهَامِ. It's not permissible to delay the ism istifham. Cannot. It has to come at the beginning of the sentence. And as you know, قَدِمَ عَلِيٌّ is واضح. قَدِمَ فعل, Ali fa'il. So the sahibul hal is Ali. Ali is the sahibul hal, because kayfa is the hal for Ali. Kayfa is the hal for Ali. So Ali is the sahibul hal. Where is the amil of the hal? Amil of the hal is qadima aliyun. So if qadima is the amil for Ali, which is sahibul hal, that means qadima is also the amil for the hal itself, which is kayfa, which is kayfa. So that's the second thing we want to discuss, yeah, which is here, the second condition. The third condition now is this one. ولا يكون صاحبها إلا معرفة. ولا يكون صاحبها إلا معرفة. No. The sahib al-hal can only be ma'arifa. So that's that one here. The last thing that we need to speak about now is this. ويشترط في صاحب الحال أن يكون معرفة. صاحب الحال must be معرفة فلا يجوز أن يكون نكرة. It cannot be nakira بغير مسوغ. What does that mean? So it cannot be nakira without a justifiable reason. بغير مسوغ. So hal must be ma'rifa. Can it be nakira? It cannot be nakira unless there is a musawwigh, unless there is a justifiable reason, unless there is something that in the Arabic language that allows the hal to be, allows the sahibul hal to be nakira, then yes, it's allowed. But without a musawwigh, cannot be. It must be ma'rifa. Okay, now he's going to give you certain exceptions. He's going to tell you, give you a few examples when a few examples of a musawwigh, of something that allows the sahibul hal to be nakirah. So he says here, وَمِمَّا يُسَوِّغُ مَجِيءَ الْحَالِ مِنَ النَّكِرَةِ. So from those things which allow the hal to be for something which is nakira, أن تتقدم الحال عليها. That hal comes before this nakira, which is the sahibul hal. Remember, sahibul hal can only be ma'rifa. Yani hal can only come from ma'rifa. But what are those things that allow the hal to come from nakira when the sahibul hal is nakira? And tataqaddam al-halu alayya, that hal comes before, precedes the nakira, which is the sahibul hal. For example, what? Like if I say, look, if I say to you, جاءني رجل فاضلا. جاءني رجل فاضلا. Can I say فاضلا, which is a hal? Can I say it's the hal for rajul? I cannot. Because rajul here is nakira. And rajul, which is a sahib al-hal, must be ma'rifa. Hal cannot come from nakira. But if I say جاءني فاضلا رجل, now it's okay. Because hal has come before the sahibul hal, which is nakira. No? I can say another example. جاء راكبا رجل. جاء راكبا رجل. I can say that although rajul is nakira, the sahibul hal is nakira, but it's allowed. Why? Because the hal has come before it. But I cannot do the other way. I cannot say جاء رجل راكبا. No. Okay. So hopefully that is clear now. That's what it means. That, and it gives, then he gives you what do you call it? Another example from some poetry. Okay. And the example is basically, he says, كقول الشاعر, like the shair says, لميت موحشا طلل يلوه كأنه خلل. لميت موحشا طلل يلوه كأنه خلل. So basically, of course, you have to remember these. A lot of these poetry in here is from the times of Jahiliyyah. But to explain to you very quickly what that means. So basically, this man, he was in love with a woman. Her name was Mayyah. And she used to live with her family in a house. And then they left the house and they moved on. And then after a while, this house, and he broke down. And then the only thing remaining after the house broke down was the talal of the house. The talal. Talal is basically you could say the remains or the ruins of the house. Once the roof is gone, the walls are gone. What's left now is just the bottom parts of the wall. The bottom parts of the wall are left, and that bottom part of the wall is called talal. The remains, basically, the remains or the ruins. Yes, that's what's left. So he's saying, لِمَيِّتَ مُوحِشًا طَلَلُ. That's her name. He said, لِمَيِّتَ for Mayya. For Mayya. This woman I used to love, for Mayya. What is now there? Talal. But Talal muhishan. Yani in a makan which is muhish. Wahsh. Yani wahsha, when you are lonely. Yani you could say abandoned, Sorry. Yes. So muhish yani makan muhish. Makan khali, yani empty, abandoned area. Okay. So he's saying for Mayya, only thing that's left now is talal, in an abandoned place. Nobody is there. Yaluhu ka'annahu khilalu. But this talal, which is nothing really, he said it appears, yaluhu, it appears ka'annahu khilalu, as if it is khilal. What is khilal? Khilal are those precious stones, like what do you call it? The covering of the sword. There's a cover, you put the sword inside it, yes, made out of leather normally. Now, what they used to do is on top of this this cover of the sword, they used to put little precious stones. And because obviously these little precious stones are sticking out, they shine. So he's making a comparison between the talal of her house to these khilal. So he's saying just as they stick out and shine, when you look at the talal of your house and you look at the surrounding areas, it sticks out and shines. Yes. So these people were, as you can see, quite romantic in that sense. Yes. لِمَيِّتَ مُوحِشًا طَلَلُ يَلُوهُ كَأَنَّهُ خِلَلُ. But what's the point here, though? The point here is, فَمُوحِشًا حَالٌ مِّن طَلَلْ وَطَلَلٌ نَكِرًا. Muhish is the hal from talal. But talal is nakira. Sahibul hal is talal. It should be ma'rifa, but it's nakira. But still we have hal for this. Why? وَصَوَّغَ مَجِيءَ الْحَالِ مِنْهُ تَقَدُّمُهَا عَلَيْهِ. What is it that allowed the hal to come from it? Yani come from talal, although talal is nakira. تَقَدُّمُهَا عَلَيْهِ. Because the hal has come before it. As you can see here, it's clear. Talal is the sahibul hal, but it's nakira. But muhishan is still the hal for it. But how can that be? How can hal be for something nakira? Yes, in this case allowed because of what I mentioned. What did I mention? That this is one of the exceptions whereby it is allowed for the sahibul hal to be nakira, and that is when it comes before it. Yes, when the hal comes before the sahibul hal. So that's one situation in which it is allowed for the sahibul hal to be nakira. Then he gives another couple of examples here. Let's look at them. وَمِمَّا يُسَوِّغُ مَجِيءَ الْحَالِ مِنَ النَّكِرَةِ. Another thing which allows the hal to be for something which is nakira. أَن تُخَصَّصَ هَذِهِ النَّكِرَةُ. That this nakira becomes specific. Remember, nakira is general. You have nakira and you have ma'rifa. The indefinite and the definite. The indefinite is general and the definite is very specific. In between you have nakira mukhassasa. Nakira which is specific. It hasn't reached the level of being ma'rifa. It's not like the nakira either, which is very general. It's become somewhat specific, khas. That's what it means. وَمِمَّا يُسَوِّغُ مَجِيءَ الْحَالِ مِنَ النَّكِرَةِ. Another thing which allows the hal to be for nakira, أَن تُخَصَّص هَذِهِ النَّكِرَةِ. This nakira becomes khas, mukhassas, becomes more specific. How? By two ways. بِإِضَافَةٍ or wasfin. Either this nakira is mudaf to something, so it makes it mukhassas, or wasf, it has an attribute, a sifa mentioned after it, so it makes it more specific. Like if I say to you rajul, and I say rajulun kareem, isn't rajulun kareem? Rajul is nakira. Rajulun kareemun. Kareem is a sifa come after rajul. It's still nakira, but because there comes a sifa after it, we can say this is nakira mukhassasa. And same with idafa. Look, okay, let's look at the examples. Yeah, we can see that in the examples. Yes. فَمِثَالُ الْأَوَّلِ, the example of the first one. What do you mean by first one? Where the nakira has become mukhassasa because of idafa. قوله تعالى في أربعة أيام سواء. في أربعة أيام سواء. In 4 equal days. Sawa means equal. And here is talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creating the heavens and the earth. Azza wa Jal is part of that. It says in 4 days equal. In 4 days equal. Yani each of these 4 days was equal in length. But now look what it says here. Sawa'an is the hal. It is the hal for arba'a. Now arba'a is nakira. So how is it allowed now for the hal? Therefore, how can we now therefore allow sawa to be the hal for arba'a when it's nakira? Because arba'a is mudaf to ayyam. So because now arba'a, which is nakira, which is sahibul hal, it is mudaf to ayyam, it has become mukhassas. So therefore now it is allowed for the hal to be its hal, although it's not ma'rifa. Look what it says here, فَسَوَاءً. So therefore sawa, halun min arba'a wa huwa nakira. So what is hal from arba? And arba is nakira. Okay, so how is it lauded? وَسَاغَ مَجِيءُ الْحَالِ مِنْهَا. Why is it permissible for hal to come from it? Yani come from the nakira in this case? Why is it allowed for the hal to be hal for the nakira in this case? لِكَوْنِهَا مُضَافَةً. Because this nakira, it is mudafah. It is mudaf to something else. Okay. The second thing we said, if the nakira becomes mukhassas because of a wasf. Yeah. That's what mithalu thani. And as for the example of the second case, what's the second case? That the nakira is mukhassas with wasf. Qawlu sha'ir is another no. It's another poem, another line of poetry, I should say. No. This is much simpler to understand. He says, نجيت يا رب نوحا واستجبت له في فلك ماخر في اليم مشحونا. Okay, so it says, where's it gone? نجيت يا رب نوحا. My Lord, you saved Nuh alayhi salam. واستجبت له, and you answered his plea. في فلك ماخر في اليم مشحونا. In an ark or in a ship. A ship is makhir. في فلك ماخر. ماخر, as you know, is when the ship hits the sea. What happens? It splits it. Yes, as it's going through, it, and it's split in the water. That's what it. في فلك ماخر في اليم. What is yam? Yam is deep sea. Yam means deep sea. So fi fulukin makhirin fil yammi. Yani Ya Rab, you saved Nuh and you answered his plea and you saved him in an ark, in a ship which is plowing through the deep sea. Mashhunan, this is the hal. Yani while this ship is fully loaded. Mashhun. While this ship is fully loaded. Now, or full or fully loaded, yes. Now here, mashhoon is the hal. Hal for what? Fi follow. Now, mashhoon is the hal. Mashhoon is the hal. Hal for what? Hal for follow. Yani in a boat, in a ship, in an ark, mashhoonan. While this ship was fully loaded, was full. Now, fulukin is the sahibul hal. It is a ma'rifah? No, it's nakira. So how is it allowed now for it to have a hal? How can mashhoon and therefore be hal for fuluk while fuluk is nakira? Because after fuluk there is a sifa, was makhirin, cutting, like cutting it, yes? So now fuluk, which is sahibul hal, it has become mukhassas. Why is it become mukhassas? Because it is followed by a sifa. So this construct therefore now has allowed mashhoonan to be hal for fuluk, although it is not ma'arifah. Now, there's something I said we forgot to mention. Let's go back. It's just going to take 5 minutes, inshallah. Surprisingly, nobody pointed it out. So It's not here. So alhamdulillah, we finished hal now. Everything to do with hal, we've done it in this book. Where is it gone? Oh, actually, it's not even here. In my book, it's there. Strange. My book is there. Okay, that's why I didn't mention it. Okay, leave it then. It's not here. It's not here. But it's the same thing, yani. It's the same concept as this. It was just another example here. Another example here. Since it's not mentioned, I guess we can just leave it then. It's not mentioned in your books. Maybe it's a newer edition I have. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, let's just do one i'rab. Finish it with one i'rab. I want to do the i'rab of this. Marartu bi Hindin rakibatan. Who can give us the i'rab of this? Marartu bi Hindin rakibatan. Marartu. Let's start with marartu. Marra. What is marra? Fi'lun madin. Is it mabni ala fath here? No, of course not. It's mabni ala sukun. Why is it mabni ala sukun? لاتصاله بضمير رفع بضمير رفع متحرك. Yes. And what is ta? Ta is ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل رفع فاعل. This is something we've done thousands of times. The i'rab of this kind of thing. مررت. مر فعل الماضي مبني على السكون لاتصاله بضمير رفع متحرك. نعم. والتاء ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل رفع فاعل بهند. الباء حرف الجر مبني على الكسر لا محل من الإعراب. هند اسم مجرور بالباء وعلامة جر كسر على آخره والجار المجرور متعلق بمرة. راكبة. This is حال من هند. حال من هند. منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره. Okay, who can tell me in this jumla marartu bihin rakibatan, what is the sahibul hal? In this jumla marartu bihindin rakibatan, what is the sahibul hal? Anybody know? Nobody knows the sahibul hal here? Hind, yes, good. So Hind is sahibul hal. Because rakibatan is describing Hind, is giving you the state and the condition of Hind. I passed by Hind while she was riding. What is the amil of the hal here? The sahibul hal is Hind. What is the amil of the hal? Hal is rakibatan. What is the amil of the hal? Remember, I told you, if you are looking for the amil of the hal, first look at the amil of the sahibul hal. Once you find the amil for the sahibul hal, then it's the same amil for the hal. So what is it? What is the amil of the hal here? The agent that acts upon the hal and makes it mansoob. Yes, good. It's marra, the fi'l marra. Why is the fi'l marra the amil for rakibatan? Because marra is that which also has acted upon Hind. Remember, marra is one of those fi'ls can be only used with harf al-jar. So because of marra, Hind has become a majroor. It has acted upon Hind, and Hind is a sahibul hal. So marra is the amil also therefore for rakibatan. It's also the amil for rakibatan. Okay, so we'll stop here now, inshallah. We're done for today. Okay, if there's any comments or anything, I guess there's nothing. So inshallah, we'll end it there, and hopefully see you in a week's time, inshallah. بارك الله بالجميع والله تعالى أعلى وأعلم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.